Walks in, you think, well, I have set up a deal with an ugly woman. And I think you would all agree that this guy's an ugly woman, right? This is what you really get when the makeup comes off. This is Jason Bath. He left his phone at home so his wife wouldn't know where he was. There was a component, a component, and an illegal immigration component. We arrested 255 people in 9 days. You decide that you're gonna hook up with a woman. She comes in, as you start to engage, hey, this dudette is a dude and look what he really looks like.
Jason Balthus didn't just throw on a wig and call it a day. This was a sophisticated operation that fooled clients for years. How long had he pulled this off? According to Polk County records, Balthus has been arrested 8 times over the past 11 years. His criminal history reads like a masterclass in fraud. 2021, grand theft charges for stealing identities. 2019, elaborate check fraud scheme targeting elderly victims. 2014, methamphetamine conviction with intent to distribute. Each arrest showed escalating sophistication, but his prostitution operation was his most elaborate yet. Balthus invested in professional-grade wigs, high-end makeup, even prosthetic padding to create convincing female curves. He studied makeup tutorials, practiced feminine man mannerisms, perfected his voice. This was an amateur hour. Undercover detectives first noticed his online ads in August 2025. The photos showed an attractive brunette offering discreet encounters for $300 per hour. Text negotiations revealed careful planning. Balthus would confirm locations hours in advance, demand cash up front, even specify parking instructions to avoid detection. What investigators didn't realize initially was how many clients Balthus had successfully deceived over the years. Phone records revealed hundreds of contacts. Bank deposits showed thousands in cash transactions. This wasn't desperation, this was a business. The hotel room bust changed everything. Hidden cameras captured the moment officers realized the woman they'd been negotiating with was actually a man. The transformation was so complete that even experienced detectives were shocked. When we first saw him in person, we thought we had the wrong room. One detective later testified, Balthus had arrived wearing a flowing black dress, heels, full makeup, and a perfectly styled wig. Only when officers demanded identification did the truth emerge. Imagine this, on one 8-year-old recruit, fresh from academy, Jabaz Lowe lied to undercovers. But why? His dream job gone in seconds, now the travelers arrive. Balthus represents something larger happening across Florida. Of the 246 total arrestees, investigators discovered elaborate patterns of deception, fake photos on dating apps, stolen identities for hotel registrations, burner phones purchased with cash, even fake social media profiles dating back months. Sheriff Judd didn't hold back during his viral press conference roast. He's uglier than a mud fence, Judd declared, comparing Balthus's before and after photos. When you find them in the bar at night and you try to drink them pretty, and you wake up the next morning and see this, that's what we call coyote ugly. The sheriff continued his analogy. You wake up the next morning and they're laying on your arm, and your Rolex is there. You just chew your arm off and leave the Rolex, you gotta get out of there. You don't care about the Rolex. But beyond the humor, lay serious criminal charges. Balthus's 31 total charges spanning 11 years showed a pattern of escalating crimes. What started as petty theft had evolved into sophisticated fraud operations targeting vulnerable victims. The Balthus case exposed how criminals were adapting to modern technology. Dating apps, social media, encrypted messaging, all tools being weaponized for illegal activities. His operation showed planning, patience, and disturbing attention to detail. Most troubling was the victim impact. Several clients came forward after his arrest, describing feeling violated and deceived. One victim lost $2,000 in what he thought was a legitimate escort transaction. Another described months of emotional trauma after discovering the truth. While Balthus shocked with his elaborate disguise, another arrest would prove even more disturbing when investigators discovered who was waiting in the car. Adarius Taylor thought he was just another anonymous client. The 4-year-old former NFL linebacker had played for the Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Cleveland Browns. 4 sacks, 12 tackles across multiple seasons before retiring from professional football, but his arrest would become the most disturbing case in the entire operation. Balthus thought he had the perfect operation. Irony? His 11-year record flagged him first. Close call for victims. Then, the net tightens on bigger targets. Taylor arrived at the undercover location on September 15th, driving a silver Honda Accord. Nothing seemed unusual until officers approached his vehicle for the arrest. That's when they made a shocking discovery that elevated his charges from misdemeanor solicitation to felony child endangerment. His 6-year-old child was sitting alone in the back seat. The child suffered from serious medical conditions requiring constant supervision. Investigators later learned the boy needed regular medication and monitoring for seizures. Taylor had left this vulnerable child unattended in a running car while he went inside to engage with what he believed was a prostitute. This wasn't a quick stop at a gas station, Sheriff Judd explained during the press conference. This was a planned encounter. He drove across town, left his medically fragile child alone, and went inside for sex. That's felony child endangerment, and we prosecuted it as such. Taylor's fall from grace represents something deeper about the operation's scope. These weren't just desperate individuals making poor choices. These were professionals, community leaders, people with everything to lose. The high-profile arrests kept coming. Eric Corliss, a Red Cross executive responsible for disaster relief coordination, was arrested for soliciting prostitution. Dr. David Michael, an Orlando health physician trusted with patient care, faced similar charges. Each arrest revealed how predatory behavior cuts across all social and economic lines. But the repeat offender problem proved most troubling. 7 suspects had been arrested in previous Polk County stings, including 2 from recent operations. Kiara Marie Johnson had been arrested just months earlier in a similar sting, received probation, then returned the very next day after his sentencing. This is a guy who was adjudicated guilty in May. Sheriff Judd explained, got 6 months probation on September 10th. We arrested him again on September 11th. Some people would say they're not such bad people. Well, these folks had a total of 76 previous charges between them. The cycle of recidivism highlighted the operation's broader purpose, identifying victims of human trafficking. Among the 246 arrests, investigators found 10 potential trafficking victims. These weren't criminals, they were people trapped in exploitation. Stacey Ham, a trafficking survivor turned advocate, provided powerful testimony during the press conference. Many of the individuals we encountered bravely shared their stories, describing how they were misled into exploitation through false promises of safety, stability, and better opportunities. Ham's organization, My Name, My Voice, spoke with over 180 individuals during the operation. 36 immediately accepted services, including emergency shelter, mental health counseling, and survivor mentorship. Each connection represented a pathway away from exploitation. 28 victims connected to services that night, but one mystery lingers. Why do repeat offenders like Kiara return? Answers in the shadows of addiction and desperation. The immigration component added another layer of complexity. 46 illegal immigrants were arrested during the operation, all now facing ICE detention and deportation proceedings. Attorney General James Youthmeyer noted how open border policies had contributed to increased human trafficking networks. Every time we do one of these criminal takedowns, there's a disproportionately high number of criminals here illegally, Youthmeyer explained. It shows the nature of what's happened under open border policies. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, tons of crime coming through the border. Sheriff Judd's message to parents proved equally urgent. Technology had become predators' primary hunting ground. Gaming systems, social media apps, even seemingly innocent coloring book applications were being used to target children. You would not normally invite these monsters into your house, Sheriff Christopher Blackman from Osceola County warned. But when you hand your child this phone and it becomes your babysitter, the monsters are preying on your children. Attorney General James Youthmeyer called for stronger encryption laws requiring tech companies to preserve evidence in cases involving minors. The 246 arrests, again, metric shows this problem isn't disappearing despite repeated operations targeting predators across Florida. Sheriff Judd's final warning echoes beyond Polk County. Parents must actively monitor children's online activities as predators continuously adapt their tactics. The operation generated 371 total charges, 89 felonies, seized 15 firearms, and provided immediate victim services on site. Subscribe for more investigations into how law enforcement tackles organized crime networks threatening communities nationwide.